Welcome to this information sharing video on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. Unlimited rocks. So what is MrSealyp blathering on about in this video? Well, this may be something you're aware of already, and if you do, fantastic. But if you don't, it can come in quite handy. Rocks and rock picking are new to FS22. And I've been fiddling around, I've been doing some on my Let's Play, and you know, I like the option of having them. You can turn them off, you don't have to have stones and rocks on at all. But with the introduction of new mods that we've had over the last few weeks, specifically for me personally, this one, the stone crushing lime production with lights and solar panels, this one's by FS22. This changed things quite a lot. Standard in-game, on the map here on Elm Creek there's one already over there, but you can also place the debris crusher. So the debris crusher, you plough your field, whatever you're using, and if you bring stones to the surface, small stones you can push back in, larger stones need to be collected. Now if you want to pick them all up, you absolutely can. You can bring them into the debris crusher, put them in one end, it crushes them, it will pay you for the stones. Fantastic. This one, however, is a little bit different. So I did the mod review on this. Now this has got solar panels on the roof as well, so this will pay you a certain amount. The prices now are done per month, but it will pay you a certain amount per month. It's not a huge amount of money, but what this will do, it will take the rocks you're putting in, and rather than just give you a price for them, it will crush them and turn them into lime, which you can take out the other end. So if you're liming your fields, you can do that. Now if you're at a period where you don't want to lime your fields, you don't need any lime, or you've got a load of lime stored, you can set this to sell. Now, selling with production chains isn't always fantastically profitable. I've been reliably informed that what it does, it takes the average of all the prices of all the sell points, and you get that average, but then you lose a percentage of that for delivery, apparently. Now, this is one of the reasons why, if we go into our sell page here, if we go down to lime, because that's what that'll be producing for us, the lime production plant is saying there 4,657. So FS22 has overinflated that price. So when it takes an average from other sell points, it raises that average so you make more money. Now, obviously, there's that situation as it stands now, that is obviously a price that will work out per month. I'm still, don't get me started on all that, but an hourly rate is much easier to get your head around, but I understand the fact that because people are speeding up time, because people are adding more days into their month or less days into their month, they needed a way to make it easier and simplify it. So by doing it per month, regardless how many days you've got set, over the course of that month you will earn a set amount. So whatever it is that you're selling, whether you've put in government subsidy signs, whatever they may be, rather than hourly, because obviously if you've set your month on 28 days and you're being paid hourly, you're going to make far more money than if someone's got theirs set on 1 day months, because they're only going to have 24 hours in a month rather than 28 days worth of 24 hours, you know. So I understand that, but this is still worth its weight in gold. Now I'm on 1 day months at the moment, and you'll see with the production as we go forward the speed at which this processes, but obviously the more days you've got in the month, the slower the speed will be. This will pay out per hour, and it pays out well. So the unlimited rocks thing comes, the situation is that if you are going to be ploughing, cultivating, the normal cultivators will bring up small stones, shallow cultivators won't, but if you're using something like a subsoiler or the deeper ploughs or the, mine's gone blank, the spaders. So under ploughs there, then you've got your spaders. Under cultivators, a standard cultivator will bring up small stones. The ones that say shallow cultivators, those won't. So if you want stones, you're going to want, you know, a lot of people don't want them. And if you don't want them, this is not going to be relevant to you. But this is actually a really nice income stream. It's a nice revenue stream to do. So you finished your harvest, it's all done. You might want to mulch first, that's entirely up to you. I haven't, I'm just going to plough straight in. So using this, I'm bringing up sort of larger stones, as you can see, the larger poles here. If you want to get more stones off your field, you want to go for the larger ones, they're heavier, that kind of thing, you absolutely can. That is also your choice. Now, you can bypass that whole thing if you want. If you want to bypass the field completely and you want truly unlimited stones, you can just put in the buy anything silo. In the Multifruit buying station by 82 Studio, you can place one of those for 2,500. If I click on that now, and we go to stones, and we start loading, it charges you next to nothing. 22,500 litres of stones for 843. Now if I'm going to sell them through my crusher, that's a massive profit margin. So you could just go backwards and forwards, and yeah, I mean, I suppose that is truly unlimited. You know, you can just go backwards and forwards and do that as much as you want. Of course you can. But if you want to do them off the fields and you want them to be unlimited, as it kind of stands, there's a situation where you play the field, you get the stones up, you take the stones off the field, and you go through your process of prepping. That's what I want to do. Let's just change this because I want this on selling rather than line production. So I'm just going to change that to we want to go to change output mode to selling. Now what you can also see there under production is that with this particular one, and it's another reason I think it's fantastic, stone crushing line production, is that for 1,000 of rocks in, you get 4,000 of lime out. You're quadrupling what you put in. It's an absolute no-brainer. Why wouldn't you? You know, it kind of makes sense. Now what I need to do also, is make that active. So as you can see to the right, it's already started producing. If you look down bottom right now, you'll see because I'm on 1 day months, the production speed there is quite fast. But I will get 4 times as much lime out of that as I'm putting in. Brilliant. It's not so much about this, although this is a big part of it. It's more about the stones this video, but it's kind of all interrelated to this because otherwise I'm doing unlimited stones and you're thinking, well, that's great, I've got an unlimited way of getting stones, but I'm not using the stones, or I don't know what to do with the stones, or I've just been putting them into the standard debris crusher. That's how you can make yourself an absolute fortune. So, the unlimited stone thing. Well, what I'm doing is ploughing to bring up the stones, as you've already seen. And then what I'm also doing is I'm using a stone picker to go along and pick them all up. It's also, you know, that's a no-brainer, yeah, that we kind of know that from the game already. So what I'll do is just move this out of the way. So like I say, you can do it that way, straight from there, and in all honesty, it's a fantastic way of making money because that's costing me next to nothing to buy those. That's going to produce them, and every hour that's going to chug out, well, what we're up to already. It's really quick, yeah, 1,800, only 2,000 litres of lime already. And on the hour, it'll pay out nicely. Now this one I've already got some rocks in. Actually what we'll do, let's send this off while I'm talking about that. So, field has been ploughed. Send my rock picker off. The other one's already done this bit. And this is really nice because the rock picker, when you do it, does give you a really nice cultivated, it's not the seed bed, but it does give you a nice cultivated finish, which you can go straight onto and seed if you want to. Like I say, I've already got some rocks in this one. Not a huge amount at the moment. If I back that up to the sell point and unload those. I can keep my lime production just chugging away. But here's the thing. I suppose it's that mental thing of, in your head, you think, well, okay, I've done the job I need to do. I've ploughed, subsoiled, spaded, whatever I want to do. I've taken my stones off the field. I've got my seed bed prepared, and now I'm going to seed. Once I'm seeded, I can roll, and I can get myself maximum production, fertilise, all the rest, and off I go. But what if you decided to use one field, set aside one field just for rocks? Rather than put a crop in it, why can't rocks be your crop? Because I suddenly thought, well, if I just plough this again, because I've already ploughed it, will I get rocks again? The answer to that is yes. If I jump out. Now they look way bigger than some of the ones I had there, but as you can see already, I can just roll this cycle over and over and over and over. I can set aside one field to be my rock crop. And I can keep that thing just chugging away. One goes along, collects the rocks, gives us this nice cultivated bed. When that's done, I then roll over it again with a plough, cultivator, subsoiler, get the rocks up again, roll over it again, pick the rocks up, and I can just go and go and go. Now, apart from obviously buying the rock picker and the plough in the first place, which will pay for themselves in no time whatsoever, I don't have to buy rocks to do it. Yeah, that might be an easier way of doing it, of course it will, but if you don't want to go down that route and you want unlimited rocks, this also means you don't have to bounce from field to field to field to field, because I did think about this was the other way of doing it, was field flipping for rocks, and I talked about that on my Let's Play. Is field flipping is kind of frowned upon as being a cheap way of that's gone the wrong way, isn't it? What is it? A kind of cheap way, and when field flipping was kind of, I say, introduced on FS19, that you could buy fields and then sell them back, which you could never do before, or you could only buy a field, and once you bought it, it was yours, you owned it, and that was it. The ability to buy a field and sell it back meant you could buy a field with a crop in it, harvest that crop, then sell the field. You've taken the crop off of it, you've given it back or sold it to someone else in a worse state than it was, unless of course you were really kind and did a load of stuff to it. That was field flipping. So my way of looking at the new way of field flipping is, what if you take a field that's been harvested? I mean, if you want to, you could still do it where you buy it, you harvest it, you then plough it, take all the rocks out of it. The next person that buys it is getting a ploughed field, rocks gone, ready to start with the next harvest. You've actually done a service. You've helped them in that process by doing it. So you could bounce from field to field to field, looking for any field that has been cultivated. I don't think there's many on here. There you go. Harvested. So any that have been harvested, you can go over, buy them, plough them, take the stones off them. Great. But that means moving around a lot to all the different fields you can do. Part of a Let's Play, if that's what your company does, so to speak, you could do that. And I think it worked really well. But setting aside one field of your own, simply for a rock crop, I think with this running, it just makes perfect sense. What are we up to already? Nearly 8,000 litres of lime produced already. And we've still got 20,000 litres of stones in there. This just works. And this is an unlimited way of doing it, of just rolling over and over. I'm not quite sure why my rock picker keeps going the wrong way. But, you know, you get to a point where if you've made enough money, you can have a field this sort of size with 2 or 3 rock pickers going, a couple of ploughs going, and you've got yourself a rolling process. You can have that in with everything else you're doing as well, just on the side. Because I must admit, when the rocks first came out, I was thinking, you know, it's a nice idea. It's kind of, you know, cool. We can get the rocks off the field. We can take them to debris crusher. It's an extra thing to have. That changed things for me, made them more relevant. And if you've been thinking, well, I don't do rocks, there's no point, I've turned them off, you may want to think again. So, as far as unlimited rocks go, I mean, that's it. It's no more than that. It's that straightforward. And again, you may have already known this. You may think, well, yeah, obviously. But it might not be obvious to everybody. And when I suddenly thought, I wonder if I plough this a second time after taking the rocks off it, will I get more rocks come up? Yeah, absolutely. Unlimited rocks. Actually, what we'll do, let's click over. I think if it works the same as it has on my Let's Play so far, on 1 day months, I'm making about 25 grand an hour. I think it was 25 grand an hour. Let me just speed up time. There we go. It's, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. But obviously, bear in mind, if you have got your months set on any different amount of days, you might have yours on a 3-day month, a 6-day month, 9, or, you know, it might not be, you know, it could be 2 or 4, or whatever. The less days, the more money per hour. The more days, the less money per hour. But over the month, it will still work out exactly the same. So, anyway, back to the outro. I hope you found this useful in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.